Good evening and welcome back to Highbury Matters. This is the show that talks about all things Highbury from the early 60s to 2006 when we left our place of worship, our footballing place of worship. Tonight I'm going to be joined by the fantastic Eddie Symes, and together we're going to go over the 1964-5 and 5-6 season. Hold on a minute, I think the teams are coming out. Good evening, Eddie. How are you?
All right, thanks. Yeah, quite
Lovely.
going to enjoy this. I think privileged to be on here.
No, it's great to have you on. Right, first of all, I've got to warn you, we don't get a warm-up. No, you don't get a 5-minute warm-up like they do on the pitch. We got to go straight on the kick-off, mate. Sorry, straight to kick-off.
That's all right.
I want to start.
I've been ready for 70 odd years.
All right, let's go then. Right, what I want to know is, when did you start like supporting Arsenal, going to Highbury? And a question I keep asking myself, why?
What? Sorry, was the last bit?
Why? Why do you? I mean, I keep asking myself why people support Arsenal. Why you?
My brother, he took me. He was 15 years older than me. He took me when I was 8, and he had this rule that if you didn't go to Arsenal on a Saturday, then you didn't go out the house. And so he took me over there in 1957.
Wow.
And my first game was in August '57. We played West Brom, and I have written it down here somewhere. And we drew 2-2. David Hurd got both the goals. And funnily enough, in 2002, I took my grandson to Highbury in August, and we beat West Brom 5-2. So it was the same opposition. That's a bit of a coincidence, but
it works out like that, doesn't it? Funny how things work out.
Yeah. But it's my brother's to blame for everything.
So he's the one that gave you aggravation, but also very good times as well. I wouldn't swap it for the world. I don't know about you, but all that,
No, I mean, well, we didn't see many trophies my generation until 1970. We dreamt of getting past the 5th round of the cup most years, and the years we're going to discuss here, I think we came 13th and 14th. I mean, it's just a joke.
Well, it's funny, Eddie. You say 5th round of the cup. The only time since I've been going to Arsenal since '62, not religiously because I was very, very young. I went for a game, then I didn't get taken for another few games. Then I went and I started probably '63-4. But I remember from '63-4, I never saw Arsenal obviously go past the 5th round. Liverpool beat us twice at home.
Yeah.
With the famous Joe Baker, Ron Yates punch up. Well, it wasn't a punch up.
My hero, Joe, I gave him a printed framed picture of that when he knocked Ron Yates out. I met him at his testimonial dinner up in Edinburgh some years later, and I gave him the frame of it, and he was chuffed to bits.
I mean, he was a great player.
I said that's when you became a legend to a generation at Highbury. I mean, everybody my age, you ask them who their favourite player, and George Eastham's number 2, but Joe Baker's always number 1. You
know what? Funny you say that. That's the 2 players I picked out as well. I mean, when I don't know about what you used to do, but when I was at school, I was about 8. I started playing football for school at 8. And I wanted to be Joe Baker. I played centre forward. I was like 2'6", I'm not much taller now. I wanted to be Joe Baker, centre forward.
I was left back at school, but I didn't really want to be McGill or McCullough.
Flint McCullough, he was good. Flint McCullough, he was terrific.
Flint, yeah. He was famous. I think he took out. I think it was Johnny Hollins or someone at Chelsea. He nearly cut him in half at one game. I mean, when Hollins had just started playing and McCullough was coming to the end, and there was no way he could get near him, so he just chopped him down. But I mean, he was a character. He was a character. I mean, but that was all we had. We used to go and laugh at him and the others. And as when I spoke to Joe Baker, he said, "Well, we had a great forward line, but we'd get 4 goals and let 5 in."
Absolutely, I remember those days.
And I looked up.
Easton was good. I mean, the forward line I remember, and I know that. I mean, years ago, Eddie, the same teams played literally every week, didn't they? That's to lose a leg not to play. There was McLeod, Jeff Strong, Joe Baker, Easton, and George Armstrong. It wasn't a bad forward line, was it?
And all the kids, because I see you last week talking about the programme. Well, because you've got all your information in the programme, as you say. I mean, now they don't even list their honours on the programme. Disgrace.
No,
But
I know.
every kid of that generation picked the programme up, and it was McGill, McLennan, McGill, McCullough. Everybody
That's
learnt
it.
that. You know, the three
That's
Irishmen.
it.
Yeah.
It's like learning your timetable, isn't it? That. So
Yeah.
just flow.
Just every week. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I mean, you said your favourite was Baker and Easton. I mean, Easton was class, and obviously the story with him how he joined the Arsenal. He was in
he went on strike because Newcastle wouldn't give him a rise, and
I mean,
tied him to his contract.
He was one of the only footballer I know that went on strike. He was at Newcastle. He wanted to come down to London, obviously, to earn a lot more money. And years ago, the clubs owned the footballer, didn't they, Eddie? They didn't just.
Yeah.
They owned everything, lock, stock, and barrel, and they owned the registration of the player. That meant a player can say, "I'm not playing for you no more," and they can just say, "All right, you're not playing for anybody." And that was what happened. What he did, I found out. In between him striking at Newcastle, he had to earn a living because footballers ain't got no money anyway. He was, what did he do? He used to sell cork. I don't know, he got in that business selling cork.
I didn't know that. I know that I think it was it Ernie Clay or someone at Fulham who paid his wages while he was doing
he was the chairman, wasn't he?
I think it was Clay. It was someone at Fulham.
But you know what he said, Geordie? He said that when I was doing this selling cork, I earned more money selling cork than I did as a footballer.
He was selling hats in Australia to go with the corks.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Anyway, so I mean, it's great memories. I mean, look at this. We'll go back to the seasons in a second, but just a few questions for you. What did you do? Did you walk to the ground? Did you live near the ground? Or did you go by train?
No. I come out of Westminster, and that was I mean, that's at the beginning of my book, which I told you about.
Yeah, I saw a bit of that. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I didn't live in the posh part of Westminster, but
right.
There was a little group of about 5 or 6. But no, my granddad was a Chelsea fan, but I never met him.
Westminster would be, yeah.
And and he had 3 sons, and the eldest one was Chelsea, and the other 2 begged to go to a game one day, and he took them when they played Arsenal in the 30s, which was a big mistake because when the teams ran out, my Uncle Bill and Jimmy both said, "Oh, we like their shirts," and they became Arsenal fans. So he scored a bit of an own goal there, my granddad, and then they took me brother.
Eddie, the 30s was when Arsenal were fantastic. They ruled the roost, didn't they?
Yeah, they was unbelievable. They won the league 7 times, didn't they? They was unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely, the lot. They had a manager, Herbert Chapman, who was like off the radar. A lot of things at Highbury were because of him.
Yeah, Wenger built the modern Arsenal, but Chapman set the ball rolling. The man was just, he was years ahead of his time with floodlights numbers on the shirts. The changing the name of the tube station. He could see everything. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and he wanted to do also a 45-minute clock, but they banned him. The FA wouldn't let him do it.
That's right. Yeah.
But moving forward, you've spoken about your favourite players, but over the 64, 5, and 6 seasons, through those 2 seasons, any matches stick out for you?
Well, what we're looking at, 64, 65. We had
4, 5, and 5, 6. Yeah, anything? I'll tell you what, Arsenal.
I'll tell you what, we beat. We beat. That was 65 in 64, 65. I think that was when Leeds came up, and Bobby Collins and Billy Bremner sorted out George Armstrong and George Easton. They kicked them to pieces at Highbury. And that was when the animosity with Leeds really sort of started. They come at us, and there was no need for it with Leeds. This was the mystery of them. They were such a good team, but they still like to kick everybody. And that's why nobody liked them in the end. You appreciated their football, but they were just horrible.
They were.
Yeah, and their fans weren't much better. But there was a game. Yeah, there was some other games when Johnny Radford made his debut against Wolves and scored a hat-trick, didn't he?
That's right. We beat them 4-1, didn't we?
Yeah. There was Ian.
He was only 18 at the time.
That's right. He came on, and I think Joe Baker saw the light there. Billy Wright. As you mentioned last week, Billy Wright's kids were coming through. Samuels and Story and those people, and then Rice and Nelson later on. So that was the beginning. I mean, there was a game in 65, 66 when we beat Sheffield United 6-2, and Joe Baker scored one of his famous diving headers about 2 foot off the ground. Remember that one?
Oh, of
That
course.
was on
I mean, I've got that on my list. I remember that game like I was there yesterday. But
yeah,
who else, Eddie, used to score diving headers in the same team?
You
Joe
said
Baker?
Jeff Strong, yeah, Jeff Strong.
That's it, Jeff Strong.
George,
I've never seen do it since. They used to be about 2 foot off the ground, horizontal, and gets fantastic goals. We sold him to Liverpool. Don't know why we sold him to Liverpool. That was a mystery.
No, unbelievable.
What about the other one? We sold Johnny McLeod to Aston Villa.
Well, they apparently, allegedly, the bookmakers were banging on the door at Highbury for their money. So that's why they outed him. He liked to bet. He's still alive, apparently. Someone put a picture of him on Facebook.
My friend met him a couple of months ago up in Scotland. He met him.
Yeah.
He was at a game. Yeah. Lovely guy.
He was, he was a good little player.
Oh, terrific. I'd say something. Go on, sorry.
That was a great forward line. But as I said, they'd get 4 goals and let 5 in. Because, when you had McGill and McCullough at the back and Ian Ewer, and, what was you going to do?
That 6-2 result against Sheffield United was quite strange because I don't know if you remember, but they scored first. Sheffield United.
I don't remember.
They scored first. Then we hit them. I think Baker got a couple. I think Armstrong might have got a couple. We beat them 6-2. And then they got the last goal. And the last goal was scored, funny enough, someone who went to a team you just mentioned. He went to Leeds. Who was the centre forward of Sheffield United who went to Leeds?
That was him. What's his name? Mick Jones, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it Mick Jones?
The unknown then. Mick Jones.
Yeah, he was a good player.
He was a great success at Leeds, wasn't
he? Yeah. No, he was a top class player. Yeah. Another game I remember, we went top of the league. I think it was in October 65. And we all went up to Blackpool. We had a couple of coaches with the supporters club. We all went to Blackpool singing "We Are Top of the League," and we got beat 5-3. So that didn't last long. Yeah, and then after Christmas, I think we only won 3 more games, and that was when Billy Wright was going to get the old tin tack.
Well, that was we come to that. That was to do with the old FA Cup, wasn't it?
I went up to that as well.
I went to that. Did you go by train? Do you remember? Because it was quite strange going there.
No, we went everywhere by coach with the supporters club. Couldn't afford trains.
I couldn't afford it. My uncle paid for me. We went by train, and we had to get off at Preston. There was no station at Blackburn for some reason.
Preston's past Blackburn.
But on the way back, we travelled back with the players, and Billy Wright was there. Got beat 3-0 by a team that was going down. I mean, Blackburn were going down. They were not very good. They slaughtered 3-0 on the day. And I went up to him to get his autograph. Mr. Wright, can I have your autograph, please, sir? And he actually looked at me and goes, "You don't want my autograph, son." He was really despondent. I went, no, I do. And he gave it to me, but he knew the writing was on the wall. He knew it then. That game killed him, destroyed him. And you know what he did after that?
He put Baker and Easton on the transfer list.
Straight away.
Yeah, that was it. That was him.
Once he did that, he lost the crowd.
Yeah, well, I wrote a letter to him saying I've read in the paper that you're going to sell Joe Baker, and I got the letter. I got it in my scrapbook. Yeah, he wrote back and said that we've got no intention of selling Joe Baker. I can assure you. And he was gone in a few months later. Never believe what they tell you.
No, I mean, I tell you what was funny is the 64, 5 and 5-6 season, the crowds were very strange. You play teams, obviously, nowadays at the Emirates, all things are different. You get about approximately 60,000 whoever you play, didn't you? Yeah. But then we used to play teams like Birmingham and get 16,000.
Yeah.
Blackpool 17,000. But the big guns like Spurs, United, and Chelsea, 55s and 60,000 there. But that was standing a lot of that, though, wasn't it?
It was nearly all standing. When it was only the upper tiers, really, of these stands. It was all standing. Yeah, I used to stand on a little stool. And we used to stand right at the back of the North Bank on the Avenel Road side with my dad and my brother and one of my cousins. And I'd stand on this little stool and lean on my brother's shoulders and look over. Because I had no one behind me. I used to be right at the back. I had the old corrugated wall behind me, So I had great views at that age. But then I think it was the next season, because I'd met all my mates, still my mates now. We met on the coaches of the supporters club going to away games. And then we'd seen Liverpool standing in the North Bank at them cup games you mentioned. Like, the first time we'd ever seen organised singing, big crowds. So we decided we'd all meet up behind the North Bank of a game and start singing songs and chanting, and then more and more people joined in and that. And that was how the North Bank got its name, was because we was all sitting around, I think it was on the coaches, and we was all chatting, saying, like, you know, we need a song. And we couldn't think of a song to sing about the Laundry End or the North Terrace. So then someone said, like, well, why don't we call it the North Bank, like West Ham and Wolves? So that was it. We called it the North Bank, because, you know, so we could sing the songs, you know, with the North Bank Highbury.
You know what? Yeah. Come to think of it, I thought I recognised your voice.
What's that?
No, I thought I recognised your voice. All those years ago, it was your voice I used to hear. I thought I recognised
it. There was always the singing section. Yeah, but another game I was just noted here was, do you remember a 3-3 against Aston Villa when Alan Skirton got a couple of goals?
No, I don't remember that. No.
We were 3-1 down. He scored a couple in the last few. You know, you'd have thought we'd have won the World Cup. I mean, we're getting a 3-3 draw with Aston Villa, but that was how desperate we were. You know, we just. I mean, it was, as you say, the year before Blackburn. I went to Darlington, and we went up there on a coach, me and my mate, and we were like 15-year-old schoolboys. But most of the fans went up on a train, but we went overnight from Highbury Corner on the supporters club coaches, and after the game, you know, that was the first time I'd seen a fight with Arsenal fans, because before the game we used to have this old boy called Soapy. He was about 60 odd, but he used to wear a red and white quartered shirt, white shorts and red socks, and he'd run out and he had an old brown leather ball, and he'd get on the pitch about a quarter of an hour before the teams come out. He'd take a corner to himself in the penalty area, and then he'd run in the penalty area and smash the ball into the goal, and everybody used to start cheering and laughing. But he, you know, and it was all harmless fun. You know, the police never, they just laughed. But at Darlington, he did it, and all the local yobbos ran on and tried to get the ball off him. So all the Arsenal fans behind the goal, they all joined in. They went on to help him out. And that was, you know, me and my mate were standing. I went, God, look at all the all fighting in the penalty area, like, you know, Darlington of all places. But me and him got chased around the streets after the game, because everybody got back on the train and went home, and we couldn't go in the pubs. We were too young. So all the people from the coaches were sitting in the pubs, and me and my mate are wandering the streets of Darlington, like, you know, with red and white scarves on, like idiots. And we ended up getting chased down the road. So we ended up in the pub for protection. But yeah, that was our initiation into that sort of world.
But also, very early on, those, I mean, I think it was 60s, he might have gone into the 70s as well, Eddie, but over Christmas, he used to play the same team twice over a few games, home and away. I mean, the 60, we're concentrating on 63-4 at the moment. 63-4, we played Stoke home and away. On the 26th of December, after Stoke had their turkey and Christmas pud, we beat them 3-2. When 2 days later, we played them again at Stoke, obviously they digested it and they beat us 4-1. You used to get a lot of that in football. Yeah, well, the following year, 65, 66, me and my mate, the same bloke, we went up to Sheffield Wednesday on Boxing Day, and they beat us 4-0. And you think the next day, I mean, it was I don't know how we got back from Sheffield. Yeah, it was the next day. It was the next day.
Yeah, we beat them 5-2 at Highbury. And, you know, and I was at both games with my mate. And you just think, what time did we get home from Sheffield? You know, 15-year-old kids, and we're up again next day to go to Highbury. But,
well, it didn't matter. That was what you did. Things were different. Didn't matter.
But all the players had hangovers. You could tell that. They all had hangovers. They ain't like the modern athletes you got now. You know, they used to enjoy a pint down the pub after the game.
Oh, I don't think they drank at all. I didn't have any Christmas dinner with their wives and family at all, did they, Eddie? They just had, you know, they were totally teetotal.
Professionals.
Had too many calories in it. I bet it was all like that, wasn't it? I mean, probably you could see it when they walk on the pitch after Christmas, their stomachs are bigger than some of the footballers.
Probably.
But as I say, now I want to show you something here, see if I can get this one on. Do a little bit of tech, as they say. Now this, Eddie, this is the Arsenal programme. And if you look at it, see if I can. It's got the Arsenal Handbook. Now this is quite funny. This comes from the second home game of the season, right? And I didn't realise this. I looked at it. It's trying to sell you a handbook of the season that's only been 2 games. How can that be right?
That must be from the year before, surely.
No, it's not. 64-5 it's got on there.
Yeah, but what it is, it's got you all the information of the year before, and it just gives you the fixes.
Right. You spoiled my thunder there.
Yeah. I used to have all them. I sold all my stuff like that.
But also, while I've showed you this page as well, if you look below, it's got the Arsenal FC Development Association, where there was like a lottery type thing, wasn't it? Do you remember? And who ran it? Jack Kelsey.
Yeah, that's right. When he done his backing, didn't he, playing against Brazil?
That's it, in the World Cup.
Yeah,
I think he was in the World Cup team of the tournament, wasn't he?
he was. Yeah, he
Well,
was. Yeah, they all raved. Right, Pele always raved about him, didn't he?
yeah.
I went to his testimonial against Glasgow Rangers. That must be about 1962.
Well, fun enough, I didn't go to that. I was too young, and it was a midweek game, so I went to very few midweek games, even a year or two later, because I was still at school the next day. But my uncle I used to go to football with, that's the reason I'm an Arsenal supporter, my uncle, and my father went, and they came back, and they were raving about some guy from Glasgow Rangers. Do you know who it was? They said he's world class.
Jim Baxter.
Yes, top man, Eddie. You are top man.
I met him at Joe Baker's testimonial dinner.
Well, they both played for Forest, didn't they, at the finish?
Yeah, was it at the same time?
I don't know, but they definitely did play for. Must have been around about the same time. But they did both play for Forest.
Yeah, Slim Jim. When I see him, he was about 18 stone, but he was all right. He was a nice fella.
Also, I want to show you this and show the boys and girls out there this one. Now, this is quite funny. This is from the same program, second game of the season, and this is showing you a game that we had. The first game of the season, away from home at Liverpool.
Yeah.
And you know why?
Because it was the first game on Match of the Day, and I was there, and we lost 3-2. Joe Baker got
Correct.
the first goal.
You went? Did you go?
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I watched it on Match of the Day, and we never. It was BBC Two then. Match of the Day. It was only two, like ITV, BBC, BBC Two was a new station, BBC Two, and my parents didn't have BBC Two. So what we did, there was a guy next door called Jock Wilson, policeman, and he knew we had Arsenal supporters. Don't know how he would know that. And he goes, "Look, I've got BBC Two. Do you want to watch Match of the Day with me Saturday night?" "Yes, please." And we watched it. We knew the score, obviously. I was hoping it didn't happen, but they scored near the end. We got back from 2-0 down to 2-2, and they nicked the goal near the end, didn't they?
Yeah. And didn't Eastham have a penalty saved?
I don't remember that. Bloody hell. No, I don't remember that.
Game. Might be another game.
But the funny thing is, that was the first game of the season. They were champions, Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
We had to play them away first game of the season.
Yeah.
But the previous game, the last game of the last season, we had to play Liverpool away from home. And they were already champions. Beat us 5-0.
Yeah, that's right.
Some guy called Arrowsmith got a hat-trick.
Yeah, and the old Liverpool bloke Fernell was in goal.
Fingers Fernell.
Yeah.
Now this is the program. The cover slightly changed for the 4-5 season. Classic program, absolute classic. As you say, it's got everything on there, the honours, everything you need to know, and on the backs, like I spoke about the other week, we've got the halftime scores. You look at the other corner flag and see what's going on. They have next matches at this stadium, and they've even got the combination and football. A football league game, and the combination is even showing you. It shows you everything. It's brilliant. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was just so much. I mean, that's how you got your brainwashing, wasn't it? It was just pumping it into you all the time. But what else was you going to do?
Where else would you learn it, Eddie? Where else would you know about anything? It weren't in the papers, was it? It wasn't on the television.
Well, it's why nowadays they don't talk about anything before the Premier League, do they? They're not interested.
No. I mean, I don't know about you. When I used to get the programme, we used to be 5 of us go in the car, all in partying. We always have a programme each. I think it was 6p as it shows there. We used to flip up the half crown, catch it, and used to get the programmes. All of us, and I used to study that before the game. I had to go, I went through it and through it again just to find out what was going on. And normally, like I said, the people on the back was the team, or the middle sometimes was the teams. The middle it was the formation of normally that 9 times out of 10, that's what the team that played. So it was very good. It told you all about the players from the other team as well, didn't it? Who they played for, what they're
the little pen pictures about them. Pen pictures they called them, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, as you say, so much information. What else we got here? Talking points. Why have I got this one?
And the printers did the same program for Chelsea, didn't they?
Yes. Now this is the voice of Arsenal. We used to do every week. We used to have this.
That's it.
And they were talking. It was just great talking to the fans. That was talking to the fans. Brilliant.
Yeah.
If I can make that bigger, because I think I can. I think it work.
Now the program now is written for 10-year-olds. I'm sure it is.
Yeah. Well, they want to sell you stuff, don't they? So there's lots of adverts and all that.
Yeah.
But it's so good. It's absolutely, and also what they're talking about. They wanted to actually have the amateur game and the professional game come together in mind. In other words, don't have a big line between professionals and amateurs. And this is what this talking point was all about. So it's really good, really, really good. Right, let's see if that works. It does. Good. I've got it back to where it was.
Did you ever go to England v Young England games?
Friday night?
Yeah, before the cup final.
Yeah. Oh, how good was that?
Yeah.
That's where I tell you who played for us for England is it under 21? What was it under?
Under 23s, wasn't it? England proper team, and then the under 23s.
That's right. The Friday night before the cup final, and who used to play for under 23s, being at Highbury. They were good enough anyway. John Samuels used to play.
Yeah, they always stuck an Arsenal player in. Yeah.
Who else? I think there's one other. I don't think I saw Radford play for some reason, but they were great nights, weren't they? You go to Highbury Friday night. You go to the hallowed place on a Friday night. Tomorrow we ain't going to be in it, but we're watching a cup final.
Yeah, but there'd be a load of fans there who were going to the cup final the next day because it was always like northern teams, wasn't it? We was never in it.
Yeah.
But
back to where we were. So that was great. And also, what's this one then? That's next season. Right, so let's have a look at the 1964-5 teams. I think I've got it here somewhere. There we go.
Oh, there they are. Yeah,
nice kit, isn't it? I love that kit.
Classic. There's old Gordon Ferry in the back row there.
Very good, Gordon Ferry. Didn't play a lot for us though, did he?
No.
Gordon Ferry.
Donnell and McCullough, the fullbacks. Jeff Strong and Furnell. That's Skirton, isn't it? Neil.
Yeah.
Baker. My hero, Geordie. David Court and Geordie Armstrong. Yeah.
Oh, you got David Court. Yeah, you would do, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sad.
I bet he got hot, Jim Furnell, in that bloody top. He's got about 4 layers, hasn't he?
More than likely. He didn't lose any weight though, did he?
No. God, dear. That was a terrific team. Terrific to watch. We never won anything, like you said, but your heart was with them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you knew there was going to be goals.
Every week. We ain't going to win every week. You weren't expecting it. The bar was very low, but you still had that love for the club, love for Highbury. I mean, just going back a little bit, Eddie, going to Highbury, what did it actually mean to you?
Everything, wasn't it? I mean, for a couple of years in the 70s, I lived over in the street, Elwood Street, opposite the Gunners.
I used to park down there, Elwood Street.
Yeah, well, we lived in the last big old house. Before you get to the Gunners on the other side of the road, it's gone now. They knocked it down and built entrance to the school. But one of my mates lived there, and his mum and dad got divorced and all the rest of it, and he was only young. And so he asked a couple of us to go and live. He didn't want to go with his mum and dad to Essex. He said, I want to stay here. So we moved in with him. Bit of a nut house, but there you go.
I mean, you've been to away. You went to away, different away grounds then, like I did. I only went to London away grounds then because I was quite small. My dad and uncle took me to the London games, like Chelsea, Tottenham, West Ham, and Fulham. But I used to go to some away grounds. If we played in the cup, my uncle used to take me. Used to treat me. But for you, when you used to go to all these grounds, and then you got back to Highbury the next Saturday, how was Highbury different for you than you went to a away ground? Oh, this is so different at Highbury. You know anything different? Spring to mind?
Yeah, everything. I mean, compared to most grounds, I mean, apart from Villa Park and even Old Trafford was a dump in them days. I mean, they have tightened it up now, but compared to most grounds, it was a palace. It was just like a palace, and none of us had ever been inside the marble halls in them days. There was no tours or anything. You could have a little look, sneak around the commissioner and have a look in there, but you never got to go in there. And and as you said last week, the floodlights just set it off of a night.
Yeah.
But it was just when you walked up that main road, Avenel Road to that stand to see the East Stand there. I mean, I'm glad they have kept it. I went over there a few years ago. I had some time to kill, and someone had left the gate open, and I stood in the corner of the Clock End and Avenel Road, and I just stood there looking, and I thought, well, they've done a nice job, but I wanted to cry. I just wanted to. I thought. I've got a mate whose ashes are scattered over there somewhere. I thought, well, he won't be too happy. He's in someone's back garden now. and I just stood there and I thought, I grew up here. This was my life. And now, I'm glad they kept the two main buildings, though. But,
for me,
it's heartbreaking. But
listen, times move on and we had to do it, I suppose. But for me, when I went to Highbury, I used to jib in. My uncle used to give the turnstile geezer couple of shillings or whatever, a couple of bob, and I'll go over the turnstile, right? There was always seats. The crowds, as I told you, if it was Man United, forget it. We're playing Villa, we're playing Birmingham, or whatever. I'd always sit near them, right?
Yeah.
Walking up those steps, or from the ground floor up to the Upper East where we used to sit, it was such a solid stadium. There was no wood. I went to Fulham where it was wood. There was no corrugated iron where we were. Yeah. Everything was solid, and it was in the right place. And it felt like home. It felt like you're in a house. Beautiful.
Yeah, it was, and I mean, they call Old Trafford the theatre of dreams, but Arsenal was a theatre. You sat there like you was in a theatre. I used to sit in the East Upper in the George Graham years. We had season tickets up there, 14 of us. But I mean, he describes it in fever pitch when that little boy runs up, under the West Stand and sees the pitch for the first time, and he nearly faints. And that was your feeling, wasn't it?
Well, I'll tell you what. When I go, and I don't know whether I'm going north or south. When I wake up and I can feel I'm in a padded seat, I'll be happy because I know I'm back at Highbury, because those padded seats are fantastic. They were. And all the crowd. I know that. We used to go. We get away seats. We used to get sometimes because we knew my uncle used to know some of the players. We used to get tickets for away games. Very friendly with the players. So we had half decent seats. We weren't like in the corner in the gods with need a binocular to see what's going on. Yeah, binoculars. But wherever we sat, and we sat in decent seats, Eddie, they weren't the same as Highbury seats. They were totally different. The minute you coughed, they used to flick up the seat, or it felt uncomfortable. I know you don't get a football to be comfortable, but Arsenal had that bit of class about them. Absolutely. Yeah. I tell you what, you were East Upper. I was East Upper and North for years. Absolute years. And I tell you what was quite good. I don't know if you did it at half time or before the game. You go downstairs where the bar was, the restaurant, have a drink, have some food. You get served straight away, right? Yeah. And the food was excellent. Like you used to get sausage rolls, but sausages cooked in front of you, then they cook them in rolls for you and all that. And the prices were what you would pay anywhere else. Not like today where you got to pay arm, leg, and another arm. It was so different.
Yeah, I mean, we sat up there for I think 6 years. Well, we sat up there till they built the new North Bank. Then we moved over there. We went upstairs in the new North Bank.
What block were you in, Eddie?
Hey?
What block were you in?
What, in the east? F. Block F, row U.
You were D.
Block F, row U. We was the FU troop. 14 of us.
Now then, talk about a couple of things here. In the 5-6 season, we spoke about this, but we go back to it. We got beat in the FA Cup by Blackburn away. And all of a sudden, our season was over. We ain't going to win anything. There was no European football then as such. Only the top team got European football. I don't even know if we played European football as a country.
Well, Liverpool played in the Cup Winners' Cup final on the night we only had 4,000 against Leeds.
Yes, that's right. That was we had 4,554 people home to Leeds and got beaten 3-0.
Yeah.
I mean,
bonfires on the North Bank.
Oh, yes, that's right. And Ian Yor, they tell me, I didn't go to that game. It was a midweek game.
Nor did I. I didn't go. It was raining.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think he played. Yeah, he played centre forward.
Did he?
Yeah, he played centre forward. Let's see who's in the chat here. What's this? What's Terry say here? What's Terry say here? No, 5-1. Terry's going to 5-1 this weekend. I like your. Shane's around. Shane. Oh, thanks very much, Shaney. Cup of coffee. We'll have a cup of coffee on that one. Eddie, all right? We've got a cup of coffee between us. Is that all right? Each. All right. Oh, terrific. What else we got here? Any other comments that I could get to use this? Tech mail, as they call me. Oh, we got Neil's in the house. What else we got there? Terry, Neil. Few faces. God, they're fantastic. Shane, obviously. Terry, oh, lovely. Right, now then, what else we got here? Let's.
I'm sitting in my Arsenal room here, by the way.
Oh, you got all your stuff, have you?
Yeah, look.
Oh my God, look at that. Is that Joe Baker behind you?
There he is. And there's me and him up there. Hang on.
Oh, fantastic.
Where are we?
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
There's me and Joe. My idol. Still my idol.
Oh,
My favourite of all time. He weren't the best player of all time, but he's my favourite.
No. You see, not sometimes your favourite player wasn't the best player. The best player in that team was probably George Easton.
Yeah, for technique. It's like Bergkamp was the best in the technique, but everybody loves Henry. I mean, I love Vieira in that team.
And I'll tell you what, going back to that 5-6 season, and you know what I didn't like about the season? Later on, I didn't realise at the time that I wouldn't like it. But you know what we did that season, Eddie? We bloody changed our top.
Oh, the old red shirts. Yeah. Well, they put that down to Frank
Man United style.
Nottingham Forest, when they said they did as a tribute to Forest or something. Well, that's nonsense. But
is that what they did it for?
Well, apparently Frank McClintock suggested it because he got fed up being compared to the teams of the 30s and the early 50s.
You know what? I did hear that. I heard that. I did hear that.
Yeah. I think he's since denied it, but that was what they said. He said, we've got to get rid of this. People keep, every time I walk in here, they say, oh, you're not as good as the team from the 50s or the 30s. But it only lasted a year, didn't it, I think?
That's right.
But we wore it.
The Man United home shirt, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we wore it in the FA Cup. We wore the old traditional kit.
Oh, did we?
66, 67, yeah. Yeah, in the FA Cup, but we only lasted 3 rounds in that, as usual. But that's when my banner, my famous North Bank banner, that made its debut at Bristol Rovers.
What was it?
North Bank, great big. It's on the front cover of my book. It's
oh, right. I didn't know it was your one. We'll talk about that shortly.
My dad made that.
Yeah, I've got one for you. What was the first thing you ever saw Arsenal win? It's a trick question, Eddie. It's a trick one.
Quiz ball.
Yes, you got it. Good man.
you got to be good to get me, mate.
I'm happy league. What's going on there? Yeah, quiz ball with Ian Muir and Terry Neal.
And Cardrew Robinson.
Oh, that's right, yes.
And Pete Murray.
Pete Murray was a big Arsenal supporter, Pete Murray.
Yeah,
Pete Murray, ladies and gentlemen, was a big DJ, wasn't he, around then?
Yeah, he's 92. He's still going.
Is he still going?
I don't think he goes to Arsenal, but I mean, he's still alive. I don't think he goes over the Arsenal.
Talking about the seasons 5-6, I've managed to find on online a ticket for the game, for one of the games, right? Lower West, where you could sit, the lower seats.
Yeah.
Watch a league game. I don't know, I can't remember it against. Sitting 50p. It wasn't p's then, it was shillings. It was 10 shillings then, right? So that's telling people that don't know how they used to work things out. 50p to sit.
But they didn't put the seats in for a long while, did they? Because you could walk from one end to the other at one stage.
That's right.
Up till about 1972, I think, at least. I've only ever sat in the West Stand 6 times, and I've never seen them win when I've sat in there. So I just, people say to me, I've got your ticket in the West. I wouldn't go. I said, no, I ain't having that.
No, I've got a question for you, Eddie.
Yeah.
Why don't you stop after 3?
Stop what after 3?
Going to the West Stand after 3. You must. Do we keep getting beat after 3? I'll turned it in. I think,
I see what you mean. Yeah. No, I just thought, in the last time I went over, I think was when we played Spurs in the 87 League Cup semi-final, and there's the only chance that I had of getting a ticket. And mate, mine was on holiday, so you can have my ticket. And I went in there, and we got beat 1-0. And I said, never again, never ever again. Yeah,
it worked out all right though, didn't it?
In the end, yeah, one of the greatest nights ever. Well, two. Well, the Sunday afternoon and then that night game was just unbelievable. Yeah. I think I went through the plastic suit.
I'll tell you what I remember from that season as well. Manchester United were the champions, 5-6. The season before, 5-6. We played them early in the season and we walloped them 4-2.
Yeah.
It was a big thing for us to beat. We thought, here we go, this is fantastic. On the Tuesday night after the Saturday game, we played at home to Northampton, who I think only managed to stay up for that season. They came up straight down, and we couldn't beat them.
No, we drew 1-1. 1-1 both games.
1-1.
Yeah. Who got the goal at Highbury?
What, for Arsenal?
Yeah.
Bob Wilson?
No.
Tony Burns?
Who got the goal? Not in goal.
Oh, got the goal. Sorry, I thought it was an in goal. I don't know. Go on.
Tommy Baldwin.
Who went to Chelsea?
Yeah, part exchange for George Graham, yeah.
That's right. But that was a great deal, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the end it was, yeah. At first we weren't very happy because we all thought Baldwin had a great future, but not with us, he didn't. He done all right at Chelsea.
I'll tell you what, George Graham, even though when he was playing at Chelsea, I thought he was fantastic. He was
Yeah, he was
so
class.
good.
The other player that came
He
around
was a
about
centre forward at Chelsea, wasn't
yeah. The other player that
in
came
the
about in 65, 66, and we all had high hopes for him, was Mickey Boot. Do you remember Mickey
he?
Boot?
No, I know the name. Don't remember. Don't remember watching him play.
Yeah,
But I know the name. He hardly played for us already.
yeah, he played a few games, scored one goal. I think he ended up in South Africa, but everybody thought he was going to be great. But he went off the rails, I think.
Right. Now, just going back to the year, nothing to do with football. What the world was like then, right? A pint of milk. What did that cost?
I should say in today's money, about 10p.
11p. Fantastic. Pint of beer.
Oh, blimey, the old Watney's Red Barrel. that would have been that might have been about 15 pence, I should think.
12.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
I was getting robbed. I was in the wrong pubs.
Fags. What's the 20 cigarettes cost?
I ain't got a clue. Didn't smoke.
Right,
I'd say, well, they're about to say. I was going to say a little bit more than a pint.
And this will make you. That's all sad. A litre. It wasn't a litre. Then we only had pints. But I've changed it. A litre of petrol.
38 pence.
No, it's a lot more than that. 139.
Was he really?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. There might have been some war on in the Middle East or something. I don't know what's going on there.
Israeli war, wasn't it? Oh, no, it was 67.
That's later. Yeah, it's later. Right now, then, the thing is, things that happened also around about that time. I'm covering the 3 years, like 5 and 6, really, not really 4. Is that Martin Luther King had his civil rights march in Alabama? That was a big thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The Moors murderer, Ian Brady, and the Moors murder happened. Ian Brady and that. Myra Hindley.
Yeah.
I tell you, was born in that year, and you think, oh, I thought it'd be born much later than that. Charlie Sheen was born this year, 65, 66. Right. Ben Stiller, Sarah Jessica Parker, J.K. Rowling was born in 65, 6. I don't know which one. No, that's what I'm saying. I thought Robert Downey Jr., Mike Tyson, and a couple more. Gordon Ramsay and David Schwimmer. Oh. It was the Prime Minister then.
When did Wilson come in? It was Wilson had just been elected, hadn't he?
Well, yeah, Wilson.
Yeah, Macmillan went and Wilson came in. Yeah.
I'll tell you what films came out, which were fantastic.
Longest Day
came out.
Longest Day.
I had him a Goldfinger. Longest Day, Goldfinger. Sound of Music. Dr. Zhivago, absolute classic. And I picked him up in the cab.
In the cab. Omar Sharif. I picked him up in my cab.
Did you really?
Yeah, he lived in the Dorchester Hotel and he used to go to the Ritz Casino every night. And I picked him up one night and he got out.
He used to play. What did he used to play? That game? Did he play casino?
Poker, wasn't it?
No. It's a game you throw a dice and you move the pieces, and it's in a circle. I think. Can't remember. Can't think of it. Anyway. Also, now this is the groups that just started to make a name for themselves. These pop people, the Kinks, who were Arsenal supporters. They used to go on the East Stand in the 60s.
The Muswell Hillbillies.
Is that where they come from? The one that
Muswell Hill,
Arsenal.
Yeah.
Dusty Springfield, who was different class.
Yeah.
She was wonderful. Cilla Black.
Yeah. Lucky girl. Tom Jones. Yeah.
Beach Boys. And the Mamas and the Papas. They didn't want to do everyone, but that's the ones that really. And you know what came in that year? I think it was 65. This came in the 70 miles an hour speed limit. Before that, you could go over 70. Yeah.
Not in my old motor, you couldn't.
Let's see what we've got here. I've got. There's Tom. Is that old Tom? Where are we? Well, I'm at Tolly this Saturday, actually. Tom, if you're about. So say hello, because I can't. You'll have to come over to me because the photograph of you, I can't. My eyes have gone. My eyes are gone. Long life. Oh, God, Neil. Long life beer, but it didn't last that long, though, did it, Neil? It was a wind up. It didn't last that long at all. Right.
I was more into the Yardbirds, me.
Oh, terrific. The lead singer had very straight blonde hair, didn't he?
Yeah, Ralph, wasn't it? Keith Ralph.
Yeah, terrific. They're terrific. They were all the bongos they used to play. One of the pop.
Yeah.
Right.
For your love, wasn't it?
That's it. All your love. That's what I'm thinking of with the bongos. That's it. Now then, this is fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
The main entrance at Arsenal.
Yeah.
Memories. We used to stand out when we used to drive to Arsenal, get there a bit early and stand outside. And the players, not like today, they never used to wear sunglasses or headphones or bobble hats and let their head down. They used to come over and speak to you.
That's right.
They used to do a little bit of. They had tickets. They used to get they called it complimentary tickets because they earned sod all, and they used to give them to their friends or whatever. And they used to get tickets. If you wanted tickets, they'd go and buy them for you. If you knew them, and my uncle did know a couple of them, he used to say, "Look, I need a couple for this week, and don't worry, Joey, I'll see you outside the ground, and I'll let you have the tickets." And it was brilliant.
When I was a kid, me and my cousin used to go over there in the school holidays when they just gone back to training because they used to do their training on the old cinders behind the clock end. And we used to stand outside with loads of other kids waiting for them to come out after they got changed and get their autographs. And they was always good as gold. The only one who'd never signed an autograph was Tommy Docherty.
Really?
Yeah, he'd never signed an autograph. And someone said once that he'd gone out the other entrance onto West Hill, and I ran around with my cousin, and I was 11. I've written this in my book. I was 10 or 11. And I see him standing outside waiting for someone. And I said, "Excuse me, Mr. Docherty, can I have your autograph?" And he went, "Later, Sonny." And I said, "I won't be here later." And he said, "Well, hard luck."
No.
You know? Yeah, and swore at me. Yeah, he said, "Like effing hard luck." And I never got over that. I just thought, how can an Arsenal player swear at a 10-year-old kid?
I know.
1958. I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah. While we're on the ground, look at that aerial photograph. Isn't that great?
That's what I've got that. I've got that on my wall. Similar one to that.
You can't have. I've got it here. Oh, soon to finish.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's the you can see the cinder pitch behind the clock end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you can see my old house there in Elmer Street up the top of the picture. Yeah.
Someone's in your back garden, Eddie. What's going on?
Yeah, unbelievable.
And what else? We've got a Chelsea one here. That again showing the half-time scores. But
no, we could never beat them. We went nearly 10 years without beating them, because I used to live around there and all the kids at school was Chelsea fans. It just drove me insane. Jimmy Greaves always
us. When we spoke last time, when I was on the previous Highbury Matters, we spoke when they beat us. Was it 4-3 or 4-2? 4-2 when Tamlin got all four.
Yeah. Jimmy Greaves always used to get hat-trick against us for him, didn't he?
He can score a hat-trick against anyone, Jimmy Greaves.
Nah, he was. I mean, I hate to say it, he's the only player I'd have wanted from that team from the lane ever.
He was different class. You know what? I know. You're the same as me. I actually went to his testimonial at White Hart Lane because that's how much respect he is.
I drew the line at that. I went in there under duress when we played them. I've never been to a game where we ain't playing.
Right, here we got. Look at this team here. Look, Terry Venables was playing for Chelsea then. See that?
Yeah, they had a good team. Bobby
Tamblin, terrific. Barry Bridges, he was good. Jimmy McCallill, who went on to Sheffield Wednesday, and I think Man United he played for after this. This geezer, I don't know what's he's called, George Graham, he was playing for him.
Yeah, Johnny Hollins, another one signed for us.
Yeah. Eddie McCready, he was their manager after this. 7 years later, become the manager. Ken Shillito, fantastic fullback.
Chopper Harris.
Oh, bloody hell. He used to chop people in half, didn't he? Peter Bonetti, he was good. Apart from the World Cup, he was a great goalkeeper.
But my favourite Chelsea player, I hate to say it, he's not on there, was Charlie Cook.
Oh, he was fantastic, wasn't he?
I liked him, Charlie Cook, yeah.
He could dribble for fun, couldn't he?
Yeah, but I didn't tell anybody I liked him.
Your secret's safe with me, Eddie, all right? It's no problem.
Yeah, you and whoever's watching, yeah.
Right now then, I've got another question I want to ask you here. I want you to talk about that.
Oh, my book. Yes.
Yeah. Tell us about it. I've read a bit of it and it's very, very good.
I for years and years, my friends and my family, because you've just seen me room, I've got all these scrapbooks and everything, and they said, look, you should. I've got all these stories that I had in my head and that, and they said, look, you should get all this down on paper because when you die, it'll all go with you. And so I never had time, like everybody else. You just ain't got time to write a book. And then the COVID came along, and I said to my wife, I think I'm going to write my book. And it took me 3 or 4 months, and then another 6 months. Another 6 months to publish it.
Right.
And it's full of memories for like our generation. There's loads of funny stories and anecdotes, and it's a history lesson for the younger Arsenal fans. What it was like before the Premier League and the all-seater stadiums and organised travel abroad and all the rest of it. We hardly ever went abroad, and it's doing quite well. Everyone that's read it, I've only ever had 2 people out of all those that have bought it that didn't like it, and one said he wanted more info about the games, and I said, well, I put in the sleeve notes. It's not about the games; it's about a fan's view of what happened. That's where it's different. You want to read about games? There's hundreds of books out there about the games. There's my North Bank. There's my North Bank banner on the top. We're going to Handbook that day for the first cup.
You're obviously one of those, Eddie. Which one are you?
I'm the one under the end of North Bank with the hat in my hand.
Oh yes,
that's me. Gotcha. With my suit jacket on.
What year was that?
That was 1970. Handbook away. First leg.
We got beat 3-1.
Yeah. And we're still in touch. The bloke to my left and the one holding up in the middle with his sheepskin coat, Charlie, lives in Spain. The other fella, Moro, he's on Twitter, Moro611.
He messaged me today. He said, I'm glad you got Eddie on. He's my lifelong friend.
Yeah. Well, we met in 65 on the coaches. Next to him is
as well. He might be coming on this as well.
Next to him is Johnny Mullard, who lives in Australia, and he was Arthur Mullard's son. Remember the old comedian?
Arthur Mullard, the actor?
Yeah. Yes, my dear. That's his son, Johnny. He's a comedian out in Australia. And the banner underneath was an old friend of mine, Tony Moss Spando. He died a few years ago, but that was his famous banner. We took that everywhere in the 90s. And we all stand outside the Robinson Crusoe in Green Lanes after doing the double in 98. And I went over the road and took that picture. There's 100 pictures in there, photos. And it's from 1957 up until Arsene Wenger leaves. So
basically, what you've done there is us actually trying to do it on a pod. What you've done, because I think what you've done is fantastic. You've actually given someone a chance to read about Arsenal history that you would never find on the internet. You can look till you're blue in the face. It comes from your brain and your heart, and it's a memory. And not all memories are written down, and they're forgotten about if they're not written down because people move out of the country or whatever. And it's fantastic that I haven't got it yet because I've read some of it because I found something on the internet.
It's available online at Amazon or Waterstone.
Amazon, that's where I saw it on Amazon.
You can get it on Kindle. It's had good reviews.
I mean, when we came up with this idea to have this program, I wanted to do it because it's basically, we're all biased, Eddie, let's face it, we're all biased Arsenal fans. If you're not biased, you're not a fan, in my opinion. But I do believe our club has got the greatest history going as a football club. I don't think anyone can touch us. And I want the people, the youngsters out there, I want to say youngsters, people can be 50 or 60, be much younger than me, but I want the people that didn't know about this, a bit younger than us, to know about it. I want people that of our age to get some nostalgia out of this, because it all brings it back again, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, from 1930 up until 2000, we won the league in every decade apart from the 60s. No one else has done that. I mean, Man United was a smaller club in Manchester till Matt Busby turned up. Liverpool were a second division outfit till Shankly turned up. We've never suffered that.
No.
Chelsea was nothing until the Russian turned up. Really, I mean, Chelsea, it was up and down every 5 years or so. So, I think I read that Graham Taylor once, the old Watford and England manager. He once said, I've never read a football book except for one. And they said, what was that? He said, The History of Arsenal, because that gives you everything. And I thought, well, that's good coming from a man who's not an Arsenal fan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as I say, we are we may not have always been the best team in the country, and that's that's an understatement. But there always been something about us. I remember when he was on television, when he'd finished playing for years, Jimmy Greaves wrote an article. He was on the television, and he wrote an article in the Sun newspaper talking about the Arsenal, how he admired the club.
It.
And when he played for Spurs, they were much better than us. Let's face it.
Yeah, it was a better team.
But
yeah,
sport
my childhood. Sport my childhood. They did.
Jimmy Greaves. I mean, God, it's. I've told this story before, but I'm going to bore people again who haven't heard it. My father's uncle was a baker in the East End, and Jimmy Greaves was a different class, and we were playing Spurs a week's time, and my father's uncle came over with his son and saying, "Oh, you're going to get slaughtered. But you think you're going to get slaughtered by Spurs?" We went, "Well, yeah, you know, they've got all these great players. Plus they've got Jimmy Greaves." They went, "Don't worry about Jimmy Greaves. They came in the bakery this week. He came in the bakery where he put something dodgy in his cake, right?" So they went. I thought, this is fantastic. Jimmy Greaves won't be able to play against us. But obviously, they're winding me up as a kid. My dad realised straight away. I said, "God, Dad, we've got a break." They're winding you up, son. So what do you mean? I haven't done that. Jimmy Greaves ain't gone in their bakery. What are you talking about? But that's how good. Jimmy Greaves was like, you feared him, didn't you? You actually feared the guy.
Oh, he was just different class. But I'll tell you, I'll just finish up on one thing. I went to the game against Man United before Munich when they beat us 5-4. I was at that game.
My uncle and my father went to that game. Though we only got beat 5-4, he said Man United were unbelievable.
And the main man was Duncan Edwards.
That's right.
I can vaguely. And a few years ago, I got a job up to Dudley, and I went and found his grave in the cemetery, and it's immaculate. It's all got red and white scarves and that. I don't know if the United look after it or the supporters club, but it's in the middle of this big cemetery in Dudley, you know, and there's a marble thing with him taking a throw in on it. So yeah, the man would have been the greatest English player of all time, I should imagine.
Well, they reckon that. Oh, by the way, your books. We put the link to your book on this pod. By the way,
thank you. Thank you very much to all those that have bought it. And if you haven't bought it, get it.
Someone's just bought your book. Actually, someone just bought it now. Terry's bought it. Well done,
Good.
Terry. You know a good thing when you see it, don't you, Terry? Eh? You do. Just very quickly, before we finish up, I just want to talk about a couple of things that are different now to what they were when we used to go around about that time. Half time was only 10 minutes, wasn't it, Eddie? Just 10 minutes.
Yeah. Time for a quick wee and back.
You know, at 20 to 5, you're going to leave the ground because you didn't play any extra time really either. It wasn't like 5 minutes extra.
10 past 9 night games.
What's that?
10 past 9, wasn't it? Night games.
That's right. Yeah. Also, I've got to ask you one question I hadn't asked you. But I want to ask you. There's loads, but I could go on all night with you, but I won't. You know, I've only got this. I haven't got enough money in the meter. Sixpence is running out. Did you, when you started going, were you a bobble hat man, a scarf man, a rosette man, a rattle man? What were you?
Yes. Hang on. Let me just show you something. Hey, before we go, let me just show you that.
Wow.
That's me rattle. My brother painted up the Gunners on it, and on the back, remember them little badges you were talking about?
Yes, the stars, the little stars.
Yeah, the faces have gone now, but look, still got it. Still
they works. Were dangerous, Eddie. They were dangerous, mate. Because if you sat next to someone or stood next to someone when we scored a goal, you were going to get your head clobbered.
I took that to Peterborough when they beat us in '65.
Oh my God, that was fantastic.
Yeah, Winston Churchill was being buried that day.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh,
sad,
well.
Sad things I know.
Well, Eddie, thank you very much. I mean, it's been I thought it'd be good after speaking to you. I thought it'd be good. Didn't think it'd be this good. I only hope people have enjoyed it as much as I have. It's been really, really good. And there's so much. I mean, there's so much that you know that it just comes to you. I don't know. I mean, I remember certain things, but you've remembered things as well. It's been unbelievable.
Well, I can't hardly name the team nowadays, which is sad, really. But there you go. I watch them on the telly. I don't go anymore. I went against Seville because my cousin was 80, and his kids bought him a box for the day against Seville. And Charlie George came because I know Charlie done the forward for me book, and he was sitting up near me, and I got him to come in the box and say happy birthday to my cousin. So everybody had a great day. So
I've met Charlie a couple of times. He's fantastic.
Yeah, he's good as gold. You know, he can't have people that won't sign. He can't have players that won't sign autographs or pose for a photo.
No.
He's got no time.
He goes to all the away games.
Yeah.
Proper
He goes. He's proper. Well, it's when I met him, 65 over there on the North Bank.
No, you knew him before he played for the Arsenal.
Yeah. Obviously, you know, knew him. Yeah, used to see him on the North Bank, and then he was at Bristol. He's in the famous photo where we go to Bristol with the North Bank banner for the Cup game, January '67, and there's a picture was on the front of the local paper, which I've now got, and it's been shown on Facebook and Twitter a few times. And if you look at the picture, it's my North Bank. I'm holding one end of the post and my cousin's the other, but you can't see us. But Charlie is, you can see him just underneath the, I think it's the R in North. You see him clear as day, and he told Tom Wally that he was injured that day. He was supposed to play with the reserves. And he told Tom Wally he'd hurt his ankle. And when I gave the picture to Charlie, he said, "Oh, I wish I'd have had this a few years ago. I'd have put it in my book." Because he mentions the story in his book how he went to the Bristol Cup game, which was when the North Bank started to get its name that day. That was when it all kicked off over there. But
I know we're not talking about the 70s and all that now, the 68, 9 when he first played for us, but I remember his first time I saw him play, we'd heard about him because you never knew about reserves. You never saw him unless you went to the reserve games at Highbury when they were then. Everyone's talking about this Charlie George guy, really good. Do you remember his first game when he played with wore the shirt for the first team?
I can remember him on the telly at West Brom away.
He scored.
David Coleman said, "Well, we've just seen a young footballing talent who sounds like an RAF aeroplane, Charlie George." It sounds like the call sign for an aeroplane, yeah.
But the first time he wore an Arsenal shirt was at Highbury when I saw him, and he played for the reserves. Obviously, I didn't see him for that. Was we played Swindon Town in a pre-season game at Highbury.
Yeah,
and he played in that. He had very short hair because then he just.
Do you know what? Do you know why we played them?
Anything to do with the League Cup when they beat us or something?
Yeah, we wanted to show that we were better than them, so we arranged a friendly.
I thought that might be it because they beat us. They shouldn't have beaten us, but they did.
No, I was there for that another sad day, but that's for another day.
Listen, now we've met on this, we're going to keep in touch. I might, if you don't mind, later on, I might ask you again on one of the pods if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I mean, great talk to you tonight. Thank you very much, and thank you everyone for watching. Give it some likes, and see you all soon. Thanks again, Eddie. I really appreciate it.
That's all right. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
See you, Eddie.
See ya.
All the best, mate. Bye. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
All right. Hang on, turn it off. Where am I? Where'd you get?